So in my madness, I booked a trip driving a campervan from Frankfurt to Milan, and I leave in 2 days. I have no previous experience driving a campervan, and after I booked it, someone pointed out to me that there's this huge mountain range called the Alps between Germany and Italy. So it's going to be interesting. To get to the pickup spot in Frankfurt, I needed to take a bus and 5 trains, which might seem like a hassle for such trip, but a dream of mine is to live in a campervan. A home that can move? Come on, that's pretty cool. Though, maybe it's more a lifestyle I like in theory rather than in practice. So before committing to van life, maybe I should test it out first. But already on the way, I ran into a bit of a frustrating situation. I am at Hamburg Central Station, and I was just wandering around, and this guy walked in front of me. He was holding a 20 note, looked like he was handing it to me. But he was probably asking for money. He didn't say anything. I tried to walk around him, but then he walked in the way of me. He said something in German, and I said, I don't understand German. To that he responded with something else in German. As I tried to walk by him, he kept walking in front of me, so I couldn't. I found it very uncomfortable. Then he started dancing a little bit. He got very close to me, and I took some steps back. Then we stood there for a little while. He could tell that I wasn't happy, that I was a bit scared. So he turned his back on me and pulled down his pants so I could see his ass. And then I walked around him. And I feel very frustrated because I feel like this would not have played out this way if I was a man. This only happened because I'm a woman. And I find that to be very frustrating. But of course, I wasn't going to let this ruin my trip. While killing some time in Frankfurt, I saw an email regarding the van I booked and it wasn't available, so I was getting a smaller one. I hadn't had a proper sleep or a proper meal, and with this information I arrived a bit frustrated. The 2 employees were about to have their lunch when I arrived, and they insisted for me to eat with them. Suddenly, I didn't really care about getting the wrong van. I just felt warm and grateful. The van looked pretty cool anyway, and apparently I was the first driver. The biggest difference was that this van did not have a shower or a toilet. So I made sure to find a parking lot next to a bathroom. But when I woke up, it was locked, and I had to find an alternative. Luckily, this meant that I got to enjoy my oatmeal with a view to the Golden Seagull. I feel like everything is taking a lot longer in this van than I would usually spend doing it. But now I will drive to Zurich and hopefully get to see the city a little bit. This day should be more exciting than yesterday. Usually when I travel, even when I travel alone, I meet a lot of people, and I haven't met anyone on this trip, and that felt a bit strange. Usually I meet them at the hostel I'm staying at. They will probably share a room with them or meet them in the common area. I also used to meet people on couchsurfing, but since COVID, things kind of went down for couchsurfing and I haven't been on there. So now I just reinstalled the app. And apparently there's a free concert in Zurich tonight where there will be other people from couchsurfing attending. So I'm probably going to go to that and hopefully make some friends. Sleep like a baby. concert was held in a small art gallery and we were only 4 people in the audience. I ended up hanging out with the 2 musicians, Patrick and Sergey, or their artist names Slow Life and Make Like a Tree. We sat down in the art gallery and spoke for hours, and I had a really great time. So I just made it back to the van. I got a ride from one of the musicians, and I'm just feeling very happy and grateful to meet great people. Sergey and I had breakfast in the morning, and even though the plan was to go to Liechtenstein, I ended up just spending the day with him. How did you do that? Oh, okay. I am back home in the van, and I had a really lovely and social day with Sergey here in Switzerland. So tomorrow, I swear we will go to Liechtenstein, and it's gonna be a great trip.
Das Coronavirus ist bei den meisten mittlerweile ganz weit weg, hat man schon fast vergessen.
Sergey told me about a waterfall that I could pass on the way to Liechtenstein, so I decided to do that. This sign says that it's your own responsibility if you go to the waterfall, and this sign says that the road is closed, but I mean, I'll go with my own responsibility and I'll just walk around. I have arrived in Vaduz, Liechtenstein. The parking spot I found is max 3 hours, so I'm thinking to go and explore for 3 hours and then figure out what to do. We have arrived to the spot where we're gonna sleep tonight. The weather looks absolutely amazing, and I want to go for a walk around the lake before we head off to Italy. Today is the day that I'm going to drive through the Alps, and I've been reassured on this trip that it's actually pretty okay to drive through. I think the reason why I'm worried is because I know that my mom is worried. She's worried because her sister passed away in a car accident at the age of 17. And so my mom has always been very protective of me, especially when it comes to being in traffic. The other day, I was going for a run where my parents live, this little quiet neighborhood, and my mom told me that I couldn't or I shouldn't run with while listening to music because maybe I would get hit by a bike. So my mom really does everything she can, or tells me everything she can to try to protect me. But I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Okay, we are heading to Italy! We have arrived in Italy, Varese. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's just north of Milan. And I actually have an online appointment in 2.5 hours. So, unfortunately, we won't have time to go to all of the really cool things that seem to be around here. But we will head to the city center and have a walk around there and hopefully find a place that has Wi-Fi. Just got back to the van. I had a very insightful session in the course that I'm taking, and then I did some work. The restaurant owner came with food to my table as a gesture, which I feel like is becoming like a theme in this trip, that people are giving me food, which is really nice. And when they were closing, he came to have a conversation with me, curious about what I was doing in Italy. And I don't speak Italian and he doesn't speak English, so we sort of just had to fight our way through the conversation, but still ended up actually exchanging a lot of information, and it was a really nice experience. And I ended up promising him that I will come back for breakfast in the morning, so that's the plan. Okay, I found this, which I bought in Germany. And you're supposed to just be able to like make pink stripes in your hair. I went for breakfast like promised, but the kitchen didn't open until 12. So I just had a quick cup of tea before heading to Sacromonte di Varese before returning the van. Okay, so I couldn't find any parking. And sort of just followed the road, and there was nowhere to stop or turn around or park. So now I ended up somewhere in the mountains. We probably don't have time to go to the place. So now I'll probably just have some actual breakfast and then we'll go get back the van. The GPS took me down some narrow streets, and well, at the end the car got to a street where it couldn't fit. I had a lot of Italians trying to help me out how to get the car through, but I ended having to back down the narrow streets again, and I ended up causing a little damage to the van, which became rather expensive for me. I thought the trip was going to end on a bad note, but the kind employee who worked at the rental shop spent his lunch break driving me to the airport so I wouldn't miss my flight. So am I closer to knowing if van life is for me? Well, this trip probably doesn't resemble what van life actually looks like. I'd say for now there's pros and cons. I'm not really fond of having to look for a bathroom every morning, but connecting with people like I did on this trip makes me ecstatic, and I felt more alive than I do in my everyday life.